my grandmother were born 3 children. My mother, her younger brother, and a daughter. In about 1905 or 10, we are guessing now, the son of Mr. Cohen, Isidore, left Russia and came to the United States. And he immigrated to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And there he made his home and raised his family. And in 1914, he sent for my grandfather. Who then settled in Cedar Rapids. My grandfather left behind his family, and 7 years later, in 1921, brought his family to Cedar Rapids. Along with his family was his brother-in-law, Uncle Jaime, who was my grandmother's brother. During the crossing, my uncle was hurt, and he went to St. Louis for medical help and settled in St. Louis. About a year after my mother and the family moving to Cedar Rapids from Russia, they went to Chicago and took up residency in Chicago. Sometime after that, my uncle came from St. Louis and met his wife, Julia, and took her back to St. Louis, where they raised their family. They had 2 children, Harry and Sylvia. In 1936, my mother married my father, and they started their family. In 1948, my grandfather's cousin, who lived in St. Louis, came to visit, as I understand it. His name was Marvin Bierman. And he met my grandmother's niece, who was Sylvia Cohen. And in 1948, they married. And Sylvia and Marvin lived in St. Louis and started their family. Joanne, and Philip and Cheryl, who are here tonight. And their children and their grandchildren. So it is very interesting that we are all related. We're all related on 2 sides of our family. Both my grandmother and my grandfather. And here we are to celebrate my mother's wonderful 90th birthday. She's been a joy, and we love her very much. And we will all celebrate her 100th birthday. like to make a toast to my mother. Happy birthday. We love you. We will celebrate your 100th all together and a great joy.
Cheers, Grandma.
Anybody else have something to say?
I'll say something. When I first started coming to the Jacobson household, the warmth, 1880, I think it was in the 1880.
I wrote that down. It was 1884.
1885. I don't remember. But it must be like 1955, I would say.
That sounds good.
And I mean, the warmth and the love there came a good measure of it was from Mom, and you know, it was really wonderful at that time. But we did have our problems. And one I can remember was Sandra and I were down in the basement.
Always.
And it was about 10:30 at night, and Mom was at the top of the stairs, and she said, "Is he still here?"
No, I said it's time to go home.
No.
2 weeks before the wedding.
You said, "Is he still here?"
And you said, Izzy isn't there, but I'm there.
I remember that. I
remember it like
apologize
yesterday. Since I've had 3 daughters of my own, I know where you were coming from.
That was later.
Later,
Then you
I
weren't
found
so
that out
happy
later.
with me.
At the time, I didn't appreciate it. He's still here.
Till he had the 3 girls, he did appreciate it.
And one of my earliest memories at that time is of Harriet chasing Sandy down the stairs and chasing her through the dining room and the living room, yelling at the top of her lungs, "I'm going to kill you if you touch my things again."
It wasn't.
What things were those? I'm still yelling there, Richard.
That didn't scare me off. Even Bennett in the house didn't scare me off. But he should have. Fortunately, he didn't.
Wasn't around much.
You were around enough.
Too much.
And
Especially when you were in the basement with my sister. And it wasn't Isidore.
you couldn't care less about that.
Wasn't Izzy. Wasn't Izzy.
But I do remember very fondly the Passover dinners that we had there with Bubby and Zadie sitting at the head of the table, and Mom and Dad and my mother and father. Those were wonderful days. And a lot of that really was due to your doing. You were leading the way there in the house. And,
It was wonderful.
so I want to toast you on your 90th birthday. May you have very many, many more years of good health and happiness.
Here's to you.
We had a lot of fun, Richard. in the
Yes, we
house.
did.
Lots of fun. Lots of eating. Always somebody in the house eating.
Lots of eating. That's lots of food.
Always.
Lots of hanky-pank in the basement.
I felt it.
Hanky-pank in the basement.
Are you next?
Me?
Didn't know or didn't care.
I thought I told her.
Rich, I didn't know, I didn't care.
We'll work the kids
I
first
thought I
and then
told
work
you to
down
go
to the
home. It's
grandkids.
time.
I think it told me to go home too.
Like, what do you call it, the Jewish community, it wasn't my business, I didn't go there, I didn't care, do what you want.
Okay, I'll say something. I remember one of my earliest memories with Grandma would be taking a bath in her bathtub with the beads. We would take baths together, and we loved to wash each other up. And she had the greatest bathtub because it had those beautiful beads hanging down, and I just loved to take a bath with her. And I used to love to sleep.
There's a bordello.
To sleep together.
Bobby ran a bordello.
Probably one of maybe the earliest memory I have of your old house was when I locked myself in your bathroom. Do you remember? And you had to break me out of the bathroom through the window.
The
I had to
downstairs
crawl in,
bathroom.
yeah, to crawl into
The main floor, the powder room.
Yeah,
My God, how old were you?
I remember that.
She
And
was
I
a little
remember
girl.
making cinnamon toast in your toaster.
Sure.
A lot of cinnamon toast.
I told you it was a fun house.
It was a fun house.
It was a wonderful house.
That's it. I'll make a toast to my grandma that we love very much.
Thank you.
We're gonna get drunk by the end of this night. All these toasts.
I'll drink to that.
I'll get high.
I'll go next.
Are we gonna drink the candle, Mother?
Can't take her any place.
I remember a lot about Grandma and Papa George and the great times that I had as a kid growing up and spending holidays there at the house with my favorite cousins in the world, and just the atmosphere that they created for us to be kids and have a good time. We had a monkey. The monkey was,
Hands down.
For those got the monkey.
the monkey was, if those of you that don't know, was a toy monkey. It was
It
soft
was a
and big and
chimpanzee.
plastic parts, and
Was it?
we would run around
Was yours?
like these kids and fight over the monkey and rip it up, and Grandma would always sew her back
so
on.
excited.
Let us go back at it. Which was great.
So
Yeah, she used to sew the yarn.
yeah, but it's rip. I would,
Yeah.
I would sew it.
Grandma Eve has always been a big influence on me, had a big influence on me, and it's been a major inspiration in my life. As a kid, I feel very lucky, fortunate to have a grandmother as great as you, Grandma Eve. Thank you for that. And thank you for the things that you've taught me over the years, like never go do a drug test after poppy seed cookies. No, I'm just kidding. She told me smoking would stunt my growth, but not my character, which obviously is true.
Did you tell him that, Mom?
And
About the
most
poppies and
importantly,
I told him
she
he'd grow tall.
She gave me a lot of hope as a kid, and told me that one day I would grow up to be big and strong and be able to drink soup off the top of her head. And it came true.
Came true last Thanksgiving.
So thanks, Grandma, for all the great memories and the great times.
Who gave you your first camera?
I love you, Grandma.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and Grandpa George, by the way, had given us our first camera when we were kids. Roger and I played around with the camera in the neighborhood kids, and ultimately that influenced us in our careers and has been with us our whole lives, I guess.
Thank you so much.
Is it my turn? Okay. One of my
I didn't know
earliest
that good.
memories